Good evening, it's Angela Walker bringing to you tonight the reading of 6-3, Watching Your Emotions. The title was Mind Readers by Philip Ross. The psychological areas that are covered are clinical, cognitive, developmental, social, behavioral, and cultural, and also neuroscience. This study is recent and represents research that is in the process of changing psychology in potentially compelling ways. The research concerns new, highly technical methods of actually peering into your brain and seeing what is happening in your brain and how your brain functions, including your emotions, your thoughts, and your experiences. It also gives researchers a chance to mind read. Philip Ross reported on how the MRI might be employed for uses beyond medicine, such as detecting the brain structures involved in human thinking, emotions, motivations, and behaviors. Specifically, Ross examines a study that tests the potential of the MRI to determine if a person is telling the truth, if the MRI might be a high-tech lie detector. The basis for using the MRI for reading the brain is that it can reveal which parts of the brain are functioning at any particular time during the scan. In other words, while someone's brain is being scanned, the person can be asked questions, shown pictures, and asked to read short text fragments. Researchers can then see exactly what parts of the brain are involved in these activities. Would you say that when you are telling the truth or when you are lying, the truth or the lie comes from different parts of your brain? The answer is you don't know. But if you could watch your brain functioning while telling the truth or while lying and observe which areas are active for each activity, we could answer this question. The frequency MRI can do this. It's far more superior to a polygraph because polygraphs fundamentally measures responses separated from the brain that create anxiety, and people may become anxious for a variety of reasons other than telling a lie, which is why polygraphs aren't considered valid and aren't allowed as evidence in the court of law. The frequency MRI brain imaging doesn't track anxiety but reveals thinking processes. The basic idea is that when the brain is being observed and the subject tells the truth, one part of the person's brain will light up, the part containing the truthful statement. If the person lies, two parts of the brain will light up. The part that is creating the lie, and the part holding the truth that the lie is covering up. A lie can't exist unless it's hiding a truth, and these two processes exist in different parts of your brain. The research involved lying and truth-telling when the participants and the researchers knew which was which. This was an exploratory study to test the theory of mind reading. The method was simple. Participants were asked to select one of 3 envelopes, all of which contained the 5 of clubs and a $20 bill. They were asked to memorize the card, return it and the money to the envelope, and conceal it in their pocket. They were told that if they could successfully keep the card a secret from the computer that could analyze their thoughts, they could keep the $20. Other participants received the 2 of hearts and were instructed to tell the truth and not conceal what card they had. Each participant was placed in the MRI scanner with access to a yes or no button. They were then asked if they had this card. The results were clear. Those participants with the 2 of hearts who told the truth utilized only one brain region, the anterior cingulate gyrus. In the lie condition, 2 regions went into action, the anterior cingulate gyrus and the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. 2 reasons this finding was significant. First, they demonstrated that MRI scanning may have important uses beyond medical diagnosis and perhaps become a foolproof lie detector. Secondly, this study broadened our understanding of the human brain. Your brain is extremely specialized, reserving specific regions for specific tasks. Your brain has a multitude of specialized regions that are assigned different jobs, from recognizing faces to speaking to planning and for problem solving. The frequency MRI has been great assistance to neuropsychological medicine in identifying the regions in the brains of schizophrenias that appear to be responsible for the characteristic loss of clear and rational thinking. This may help with development of treatments. Frequency MRI also has increased the understanding of the brain functioning of individuals with autism spectrum disorder, marked by social deficits, the inability in relating appropriately to others. The study revealed abnormalities in the brain and how the brain modulates in response to change in routine tasks, which help to explain why autistic individuals become very distraught when routines are altered. Having frequency MRI, it can be used as a non-invasive tool to study, diagnose, treat, and possibly cure brain-related disorders more effectively. Prior to frequency MRI, research on the brain was limited to surgery or autopsy. The pros: frequency MRI doesn't emit radiation. It can evaluate brain function safely, non-invasively, and effectively. Frequency MRI can be far more objective than to use a traditional questionnaire. It also promises greater accuracy than the polygraph. The cons: got quite a list here. It's expensive. Researchers still don't fully understand how it works. Frequency MRI can only look at blood flow in the brain. It can't hone in on the activities of the individual nerve cells, which are critical to mental function. The MRI hasn't been proven to be accurate in distinguishing whether or not a person is spontaneous lying or telling a reversed lie. If you are a constant liar, there will be a vast amount of white matter in your brain. Legal considerations: a criminal defendant who fails a frequency MRI lie detector test can still assert reasonable doubt, unlike using DNA. Also hinders into the Fifth Amendment the right to avoid self-incrimination. Ethically, at the most basic level, is the question of the precise definition of if lying even exists. It has been suggested that different types of lies are reflected in different patterns of brain activity in different individuals. Also, ethically, the concerns to the right of privacy of one's own thoughts. This study opened doors for more in-depth brain activity studies. Tom Mitchell conducted a study that could predict human brain activity associated with the meaning of nouns. Brain imaging studies have shown that different spatial patterns of neural activation are associated with thinking about different semantic categories of pictures and words. Tom uses a computer that is coded along with the frequency MRI, and that the computer can predict what the person is thinking. He used 9 healthy college-age participants, I know, not the 25 needed to make it valid, who viewed 60 different word picture pairs presented 6 times each. The computer was accurate of 58 of the 60 word picture pairs. The results showed the computational models trained to make these predictions provide insight into how the neural activity that represent objects can be decomposed into a basis set of neural activation patterns associated with different semantic concepts of the objects. Stephen Coslin conducted a study in which he looks at the different types of deception while using frequency MRI. He describes deception as a complex cognitive activity, and different types of lies could arise from 2 neural systems. He investigated the possibility by classifying lies according to 2 dimensions: whether they fit into a coherent story and whether they were previously memorized. He used 3 males and 7 females, again under the 25, aged 20 to 30. They were asked to write about the most memorable work experience and the most memorable vacation, both in great detail. They returned 1 week later and were asked questions based on their experiences. They were then instructed to generate an alternative scenario for one of the situations. The average error rates were less than 10% in every condition. The results show that different patterns of the brain activation arise when people tell lies than when they tell the truth, and the type of lie modulates these patterns. They suggest that lying isn't a single process or function. Therefore, studies aimed at detecting deception may need to examine different neural signatures or combination of signatures to detect the different type of lies. These studies are important to us because it starts to provide a pathway to start helping others with brain trauma, autistic individuals, or individuals dealing with PTSD or schizophrenia. As technology gets better and researchers become more knowledgeable with frequency MRI, it can help more people. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I hope you all have a great evening, and I look forward to seeing all your presentations. Have a great night.